Mr. Pfalzgraf, any questions?
Yeah, a few. First off, Ms. Rodriguez and Chisla, thank you so much. I can tell that you're very sincere, and I appreciate the number of times you've come here, especially you, Ms. Rodriguez. My stuff is going to be more comments than questions. First, it's my understanding that this framework of this petition started off as the Sulphur Springs District. It was denied there. This is your fourth appearance here. The second and third time you were here, it was denied. Taken to Laco, where it was also denied. And it's my understanding you did not appeal those petitions to the state. Is that correct? Is that a question? Yeah, that's a question. Have your denials, so let me frame the question so it's a yes or no answer. Have any petition that's been denied here and also been denied by Laco been taken to the state?
No, because we couldn't meet the timeline to do it.
Okay, so the answer is no.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to make this comment. I am a gatekeeper of district resources. Our resources are mainly funded by our own ADA. The charter revenue, it really isn't constructed, if you take a look at it, where there's a bunch padded in there so I can take some kids' money in San Bernardino and take 20% of it and scatter around. It's basically, it's becoming more about cost, actual cost recovery. And that's a statement I wanted everyone to understand. So when we come back here for the fourth and fifth time, I need you to understand that our staff is vetting this over and over. And so I want that to be known into the record. Your enrollment forecasts from the first appeal, or from the first petition we had to this one, I think you stated that you reduced your enrollment forecasts and projections for the first year by 20% to make them more realistic. So I need to understand this because, so let's go about it this way. You know your petition. So the first petition to us, what was your projection of students the first year, roughly total?
About 255.
So now it's 355.
It actually went up, 355.
Okay.
Last year and now.
So the idea that your projections were reduced by 20%, that's not accurate.
No, it wasn't reduced. What we did was, in order to be responsive to authorizers, right, what we did was create an additional budget in addition to the main budget. Should we not reach our projected enrollment, should we reach it at 80%, what would it look like? Because we had a robust conversation here the last time about what would happen if we don't meet the requirement, what would be cut, and all that kind of stuff. And I remember Mr. Park,
So
what we did was create a budget that would look at what it would appear if we were not able to meet our enrollment. So we have both, actually.
Okay, so I'm not interested in the budget at all. What I'm interested in is the enrollment projection. So your enrollment projection has actually increased more than 100 students from your initial petition to us.
Very personal.
It seems, so that seems to indicate to me that you think that there's more of a draw now for your services than there might have been the first time.
This is about 2 years ago.
Okay, so that said, I'm aware that the signatures can either come from teachers or parents, and either one is legal. And I've expressed this concern to you before. I think that your student base is not here. I don't see the projections here. I don't see these projections coming here. Is I think if they were, I would find them in enrollment increases at our school or maybe at the charter over there. But you may be thinking that your school is something ours is not, and I would even give you that. But I'm wondering what the local draw here is, and short of you having parent signatures in lieu of teacher signatures, I can't accurately gauge what that local demand would be. And I'm most interested, in fact, I'm solely interested in the local demand and servicing the local students. I think anyone reading the newspaper, especially coming very soon in the LA Times, will understand that I am not interested in what's going on in San Bernardino. I'm acutely interested in what's happening within the boundaries of my district. So that said, I'm just not seeing the numbers that would show up here. And even if those numbers did exist here, and everyone that was coming here was going to jump to your school, which could happen, that's called the program. If your program is far superior to the other ones around, that's part of doing this business, and I would congratulate you for that. But there's a problem with that. But again, short of me seeing some evidence in the petitions that say that there's a local demand for this, it kind of tells me that your demand, the big, huge part of your demand, and I don't want to use your words against you, but you're referencing the San Fernando Valley, you're referencing the Antelope Valley, and I don't doubt that there is a demand, especially for this baccalaureate program you're talking about, because that is fairly rare. I do understand that, but I would think that if your market is there, your authorizer is there, and that would be my comment to that. And then we're getting close here. I want to remind everyone that when this district was going into negative certification, LACO assigned a fiscal advisor to us. That fiscal advisor was very hesitant about us sponsoring charters, and I want, you can find this in seconds by punching AAD-USD and FCMAT, F-C-M-A-T, into your phone.
And Dick Douglas, you're talking
yeah,
about
he was the person that they assigned.
This is 2011.
Okay. And I think if you look on page 14 of 66 pages in the executive summary, LACO warns us that saturation of in-boundary charters will create fiscal instability in our district in two ways. Number one, ADA loss due to competition, and that's no one's fault, and our ability to handle the pass-through revenue. So in other words, we give the charter their revenue before we get it back. So you have to have financial depth to do that. I'm not going to discuss what's going on in our overall charter revenue plan right now or where that's going, but I will tell you it's becoming increasingly measurable to the point where if you're going to supply SPED services, it's down to full-time position equivalents, what you're doing here. It has to be really measurable because that's how taxpayer funding works. Here's what my concern is. If there is a threat to the authorizer financially, then there is a threat to the charter because it's without the authorizer, you're not there. We all understand that. And next, if there's a threat by not meeting your targets that I can't see to be tangible, the thing that comes about because of that is a loss of educational validity. So we don't hire as many teachers, we don't have this. And I've watched a few of these unwind now, and it's unfortunate, but not meeting your targets, especially if I think they're aggressive and I think your base is somewhere else, I'm looking at this and I only can blame LACO because they're telling us in the executive summary, in one hand they tell you can't deny something to protect your own enrollment, but at the same time they've warned us numerous times that your fiscal solvency depends on you not oversaturating. We have a charter here. I'm watching very carefully the growth on their numbers and what their projections were. And I don't want to blend here, but we didn't authorize them, or I wouldn't vote to authorize them for a long period of time, because I need to understand that market is going to exist here. We've watched the school unwind in these boundaries, and we've watched parents have to go through a collapse of a charter, including my own daughter was a casualty of that. She's a big girl, we'll get past that. But I'm kind of sitting in the same spot My questions aren't about your education. My questions are about your choice of authorizer and whether or not that school can actually function here without the detriment to both of us. So thank you for listening to me. I hope you can appreciate that. And I do wish you really, really good luck. I'm looking forward to the vote on this, and that's all I have.